make it happen. All right, let's get straight to some news. Okay, so Susan Shoney of MSNBC is taking a shot at Amazon and the new Kindle that's coming out, the Kindle Fire. She wrote an article sort of mocking them by bragging about the tablet that was mentioned on NBC's The Office, the Dunder Mifflin Sabre Pyramid. She talks about how both Amazon and Apple need to watch out for this. I mean, of course, it's a fictional product, so it's all satire, I guess. But but she's taking a shot. I think what she's trying to get at very subtly is that this new Kindle is not going to have a chance against Apple and the iPad. There's no way. I think Apple has proven in the past that it's when it takes off with something and some other company tries to make a product of a comparable product, it doesn't work. However, the Android phones have overtaken sales of iPhones, but that I think happened because it included all sorts of different companies, and the fact that the iPhone was only connected with AT&T for a long time, and because the Android operating system was available on a really wide variety of phones. So I think that's the only reason why the Android market was able to overtake the iPhone market. But I really don't think this Kindle is going to do the job. And they can call it the fire, the explosion, they could literally call it the greatest tablet on earth, and it's still not going to measure up. It's still not going to sell as much. It's still not going to be as good. It's not going to be as reliable. I think Apple has already proven that they build top of the line, not just top of the line equipment, but popular equipment. And no matter how many people want to go against them and buy everything that's the opposite of Apple, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So I thought that piece was really interesting. I should be putting that up, but you can check it out on msnbc.com under the tech heading. But I thought that was pretty funny that she related it to the Office's tablet, and trying to show that it's not, this Kindle isn't gonna make as much noise as people think it is. And I think the reason it's gotten so much attention now is that we're looking for something else. I think people want to see an underdog win. But every time every time there's a Zune out there that shows that it's clearly not going to measure up to the iPhone, the iPod, the iPad, the iMac, the iLife, the iEverything. It's just we want the underdog to win. It hasn't happened yet, and every time something new comes out, we want to make a big deal out of it. I think this is going to be another failure. Just from the reviews I've read and the people I've heard speak about it, it's good, but it's not that good. So just to think about that if you're in the market for a tablet, which I'm still kind of taken aback by how popular tablets are now. I remember when tablets first started coming around, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, maybe a little less than that. And I just thought it was awesome how you can walk around with this thing, take it to class, and write in it like it was a notebook, but not have to carry around, 4 different notebooks for your different subjects. And they didn't catch fire, for lack of a better word, as much as I thought they would. I thought it was an awesome idea, but they didn't quite get it right. It seemed like they just took that sort of application, added it to a laptop, and made it so that the laptop screen could rotate. Now, Apple has sort of taken their genius iPhone idea and sort of just expanded it to a 10-inch screen or whatever size it is. All right, so another story that's actually been in the news for quite some time now has to do with these online poker sites. Sites like Full Tilt, Ultimate Bet, Poker Stars, they've been shut down for quite some time now by the government, and only to U.S. players. If you're a player in another country, you're free to use the site. So, okay, so the government is accusing them of illegal gambling businesses and also of using fraudulent methods to receive billions from residents who gambled. The initial defense from some of the websites like the PokerStars.net executives say that poker is not gambling because it requires skill. So it's not technically, in the technical words of the law, using illegal gambling methods because it's technically not gambling. Now, as someone who used these sites, and the one I sort of tested them all, but I used Full Tilt Poker mostly, and I have to say that I really didn't see anything wrong. I mean, I guess if you were making tons and tons of money, if you were one of the top players and you were going in the big games for hundreds of thousands of dollars and you somehow didn't see your money get back to you, okay, then you have a legitimate beef. But for the average player like myself, I was in the the $1 and $2 games. I wasn't really in it to win big, so I didn't see anything wrong. You put in your money, you entered tournaments, you a small percentage went to Full Tilt. Like, for example, you would enter a $3.30 tournament. Now the $3 that you put in would go towards the tournament winnings, the tournament pool, and 30 cents would go to Full Tilt. And I didn't really see a problem with that because the payouts were fair. The number of payouts were fair as well, aside from just the how much first, second, third, fourth place got. I didn't really have any problems with them. If I ever did win money and I requested it, I received it pretty quickly. Within a day or two, the money was in my bank account. And I think this is one of two things. This is a message from the government saying they don't want U.S. residents putting money in that they don't get a taste of, and they're sort of making an example out of these poker sites, or they're sort of masking this as it's for a greater cause, when again the ultimate result is to get money out of it, to ultimately make it taxable and make it so that revenue comes into the government. Either way, I'd just like to see it come back. They say that they accused it of illegal gambling business, accused it of being an illegal gambling business. Now, this is what makes me think that it's the government pretending that they're doing something noble when really they are selfish. Their intentions are more selfish than they appear. Because one could say that state lotteries are an illegal gambling business. I mean, they generate millions and millions and millions from the lottery. And they don't prey on the middle, upper, and upper classes. They prey on the poor. The poor guy, okay, granted, the guy, was bringing down, what, 25, 30,000 a year, and he goes and spends $5 every day on the lottery. Okay, not the brightest decision on his part, but if you're making 200, 300 grand a year, you're not going to really feel like it's necessary to go down to your local grocery store and pick up a lottery ticket. I mean, maybe for fun or as like an office, you know, um, uh, like an office, I don't know, something. Sort of a hobby, leisurely thing. It's not it's not what some people around here who I know that they consider it a way out. They really think, okay, this is it. This is my way out, and I'm gonna put a lot of hopes and dreams on this lottery working out. And that's where the money's coming from. If that's not unfair and unlawful, then I mean, what is? These poker sites are not unlawful. I use them. I didn't see any problems. The professional players, the ones making the big bucks, for the most part have stood quiet, but those who have spoken out want to see the site back up and running. They want to see them. So you have to ask yourself, what's keeping the government from either reaching an agreement or just leaving them alone? Just something to think about. All right, let's move on to the psych news of the day. A study out of the University of California in Berkeley showed that people who are easily embarrassed are more trustworthy, generous, and monogamous. Now that was the interesting part, the monogamous part. But I'll get to that in a second. So these people are more easily embarrassed. Say if let's say you have two different people and they both trip in the same place, like say on the same crack on the street, or in a small pothole or whatever. They trip and they fall. One person sort of gets themselves up, brushes themselves off, and keeps on walking. And the other person, after they fall, they look around, they give an awkward laugh, their face gets flushed and red. They they feel less confident. It sort of ruins their day. It turns out that those people are more trustworthy. And the article was quoted as saying that moderate levels of embarrassment are signs of virtue. And you can kind of see how this makes sense. A person who is more easily embarrassed is sort of just themselves. I don't know. I guess you'd have to take a look at the article a little more to make sense of it for yourself, because you can also look at it the other way and think, well, these people are probably more self-conscious, less confident to begin with, so they probably have something to prove, so they're probably more likely to lie, or which goes against the whole trustworthy thing. But according to the study, these people are more trustworthy. I don't know. Again, you can justify it by thinking about a person who isn't easily embarrassed, who's overly confident, who's almost arrogant. These people are the ones who you can't trust, who are looking out for themselves, which is why they're so confident. And these people are usually successful, accomplished people. But yeah, that's a really interesting article. I guess the next time you're in an interview, do something that will embarrass yourself and then show embarrassment. People are more likely to trust you that way. I guess I could call that the tip of the day, along with the psychology news. You can use it in all sorts of situations, but then again, if you're lying about that, you're not the most trustworthy person to begin with. So I'm not advocating it fully, but hey, if you're looking for a job, go for it. All right, on to the day in sports. Okay, so on Sunday, there were many football games, a couple baseball games. So I'm going to talk a little bit about football. Not too much, because there are too many games and the season is still young. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Jets and the Giants. Now, if you feel I have a bit of an East Coast bias or New York bias, too bad. You can contact me and let me know if you want to hear about another team or whatever. But these are the teams that I hear about the most on local radio, local TV. So the Giants had a bit of a comeback today against the Cardinals. Ended up winning 31-27. Actually, that was yesterday. So, and everyone I heard, especially on the radio, said that with the injuries to the Giants, to guys like O.C. Umenyiora and Justin Tuck and Hakeem Nicks, that they didn't think that they would be able to get through this rough patch, and that they didn't think they'd be able to make the trip out to the West Coast and handle a semi-decent Cardinals team. I think they've proven over the years, especially since Tom Coughlin took over, that they are mentally tough. I mean, of course, every football team is physically tough. You got ginormous guys on the team. But these guys are mentally tough. They overcome adversity. They were the ones that stopped the Patriots from the perfect season. They're the ones that, through injury and through questions of Eli Manning's ability, can come through and win. They're the ones that go against the convention. Instead of having a small, lean, fast running back, they have a giant in Brandon Jacobs, who's, I believe, 6'4", 6'5", and 240 pounds. The guy's enormous. Their philosophy with running is to just pound through the line and get the yards. And I think that's what's going to get them to another winning season, and most likely the playoffs. You know, everyone's talking about the acquisitions that the Eagles made and how they are projected to make the playoffs, go to the Super Bowl, and anything less would be just unheard of. And I think that they have to worry about the Giants. Now, as far as the rest of the teams in the division, the Redskins and the Cowboys, the Redskins are a solid team, and they did beat the Giants in Week 1. I don't think that's going to last. I don't think it's going to last, simply put. And the Cowboys, I'm just going to flat out say it, they're a joke. Their upset from the Lions this week, coupled with the upset from the Jets in Week 1, show that this team cannot close a game out. So that being said, the Giants have a good shot at winning the division. So stay tuned to see where their season ends. And I'm willing to put money on them making the playoffs. The division is weaker than people think. And while the Eagles do pose a threat, I think the Giants have much more mental toughness, which can get you 2 or 3 crucial wins. They've proven it in the past. They're proving it like they did today against the Cardinals. Amidst injuries, they pulled off the win. Okay, now the Jets, on the other hand, I had high hopes, as did many other Jets fans and just New Yorkers in general. I think Rex Ryan is a fire starter, and he grabs people's attention and he gets them excited about the Jets playing. And I think their Week 1 win over the Cowboys, that comeback in the second half, went a long way to solidifying people's high hopes. However, today's loss to the Ravens showed how vulnerable they are to good defense. Ray Lewis and the Ravens defense tore them apart. I caught some of the game, and Sanchez was getting pummeled. He was getting hit from every direction. The running game isn't looking as nearly good as it did last year. This team does not look good. And as high hopes I had at the beginning of the season is as low is as much is how little I think of them right now. And I'm careful in saying that because I think a lot of people would disagree with me. But we have to remember that they're in the same division with the Patriots. Now, I'm going to flat out say it. I hate the Patriots. I think they're cheaters. I think they're arrogant. But the truth is that they somehow win. They just win. So, to contend with that and an up-and-coming Miami team, I don't think the Jets have a good outlook for the rest of the season. And I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll see how it goes. But after week 4, it's not looking good. Alright, so this day in history, October 3rd. In 1863, President Lincoln proclaimed Thanksgiving an official holiday. So you can thank him for any days off you might have, and sort of the general hoopla that began with it being declared an official holiday. Alright, so the first 2 shows I presented songs from 2 different genres. One was a slightly older dance song, and the next was a rather new. I wouldn't know how you would classify it, if it's alternative or indie. I have no idea. I just found it catchy. I heard it on the radio. I loved it. And I wanted other people to hear it if they haven't. Although, judging from where it ranks on iTunes Top 100, it's pretty popular. But today, I'm going to feature a band that I think can appeal to people of all ages. This is a rather recent band who has sort of flashes of 80s music in their songs. They have a sort of an 80s style with a modern twist to it. It's kind of fresh. Alright, I'll put it to you this way. You pop one of their CDs in while you're on a long road trip, and I think the quality of your road trip will increase just a little more. It's worth checking them out. Anyway, here goes their song. Alright, well, that was the Marionettes, and the song was called Lost. I encourage everyone to check out their music and their previous albums, because I think their music is pretty awesome, considering it harkens back to a huge period for music, but it also blends in a little bit of today's flavor. And I'm going to say that about wraps it up for today's show. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at BehindTheVoice5. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel at BehindTheVoice5. Follow me on Facebook at Behind the Voice. And I would also like to announce that I am in the process of building a website for the show. So no more visiting third-party websites to get access to the show. You will soon have your very own website where you can download the shows, view the content that I talk about. There's also going to be a little section about me and about why I wanted to start the show, which I think I'll get into one day during one of the shows. But I think it's good to have it on the website. I'm also going to start contests. As of now, the format of the contest is undetermined. The prizes, however, I can say are pretty good. They range from gift cards to video games, all sorts of things. And some of the ideas I'm throwing around are a referral type of contest, where those who refer a certain amount of people earn a certain prize. Or maybe there could be a point system. You can actually write to me and let me know if you have an idea for the type of contest we can hold. Now, these things are a little bit in the future, not too far in the future. I would say within the next 1 to 2 weeks, expect the website to be up and running, and expect the contest to be on. So the goal is to get out there and get people listening. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers. Let everyone know about the show. And email me. You can reach me at nyyfan555@hotmail.com. I'll say that again, nyyfan555@hotmail.com. Let me know what you think of the show. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know how you want to hear it. Let me know what type of songs you want to hear. Send me opinions you have on some of the articles I talk about. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want to mention, let me know. You can also leave those comments and feedback on the Facebook page, the YouTube page, and my Twitter account. So that about wraps it up, and so long.